backed all the way up.
You want me to be closer?
No.
I have to fit
This is your videography.
everything in the frame, like I'm cutting off your head slightly.
Oh, that's okay. Got the Premiere phone.
Nice and protected.
Congratulations on your subscriber milestone. We are honored to take part in recognizing your achievement and want your experience to be exceptional. This award was inspected and packaged with great care by Rick. If your award was damaged during shipping or if you have any questions, please contact us. Cool. Thank you, Rick. Do you remember your first subscriber, your 100th, your 1000th subscriber? Chances are you do. And we know that you'll definitely remember your 100,000th subscriber. Your fans may have found you while searching YouTube, learned about you through a friend, or maybe showed up as a recommended video. No matter how they came to your channel, your audience stayed and their numbers increased because of you and the community you've built. We're proud to honor your impressive milestone of reaching 100,000 subscribers and the Silver Creator Award. Congratulations. We know that you have many more stories to share with your community, and we know your fans can't wait for you to amaze them even more with your commitment and creativity. So keep creating, keep building. We can't wait to see what you'll do next, and we're here to support you along the way. And who knows, when you reach your millionth subscriber, we may just write you and ask, do you remember your 100,000th subscriber? Yours truly, Neil Mohan, YouTube CEO.
Ooh, the CEO. Looks fancy.
That's Premiere Salt? Not Premiere, what's the word on that?
Premium.
That's me.
Can you see yourself in it like a mirror?
Yeah.
Oh. That's very cool, honey.
That's it. What do you think? All right, shout out again to anyone who tuned in to watch Coffee with Creators with Adorama and Seth, my guy Seth. Seth is always been supportive. Adorama has always been supportive. Fernando. Shout out to Ben Q. They sponsored that video, like that podcast that I was on. So that was really amazing. It was really nice to have a voice and just kind of be able to talk and speak and say a lot of the things that I like to say, and a lot of things that I like to say to artists, and a lot of things that I want to say to people that want to do the things that I do and do things better than I do. You know what I mean? So it was just nice to have a platform. And it's also nice to be at 100K. It's a bit surreal. It doesn't really feel real. I had 236 followers coming into the pandemic. I didn't really do anything with my YouTube channel for a long time. I've had it for forever. I think my oldest video is like 16 years ago or so. But during the pandemic, I decided to dig out my YouTube and just kind of rebrand everything and try to figure out some way to get that going. Of course, I didn't really know why. I mean, it's just, the pandemic, and I had a lot of extra time. But then once I started doing classes, and I really just wanted to kind of find a way to streamline and make all of my social medias sort of work together and funnel into like my classes in some way that I could make a living doing that. So I'm really glad that all the things that I'm doing is resonating with people, and then that it's working, because it's just very strange to me, because I'm just doing what I love to do, and I'm speaking. I don't feel like I fit the YouTube personality, but maybe maybe people just don't feel like that. I don't think what I'm feeling is necessarily different, but I'm someone that just feels like a normal person that just kind of stumbled on the success that I've had, because I get so obsessed with everything. Like I get so obsessed with art. I've always been so obsessed with art and making beautiful things. I was obsessed with drawing with pencil and paper, obsessed with digital art, and I've always been obsessed with 3D. If you did watch the podcast, then you know that I went into school trying to be a 3D major, and that's something I really wanted to do at that point in time, but I mean, it was just, most 3D apps are just such engineering apps, and my mind, like I just have an artistic mind, and it just didn't click. Nomad's the first thing that clicked. And I don't think I would have been here if I would have kept doing Procreate stuff, because Procreate was just so saturated. So once again, I can't thank you all enough for watching and hanging out, and for all the comments, the good and the bad, everyone who stops by and says hello on all of my social media platforms. So much more to come. I always have things that I want to work on, and that I want to do, and that I want to get better at. So of course, I'm just going to continue to record those things. Shout out again to Adorama, to Seth and Fernando. Check out Seth's YouTube page. He's the next that's going to get to 100K, and he's like a master at photography and all things cameras and lenses and that whole technology and all of that stuff. And he's the one who sort of got me put on to like live streaming, which sort of paved the way to me recording tutorials, because you kind of have to have the same sort of setup. You got to set up what you're doing and all of that stuff. So that sort of funneled me into where I am now. So shout out to him. I'll put his link in the description. Adorama as well. Shout out to Ben Q. And the hot chocolate that I had on the podcast was really good. Even though it was cold, it was still good. Who else do I wanted to shout out? I want to shout out to my guy, Matt, one of my good buddies from college. And he was like always supportive of my youth. He was like the first person that I was talking to him about YouTube. And I remember trying to figure out ways to get to 1,000 followers. I remember having that conversation. So it's pretty cool that, you know, I'm here now, and I can look back on that. Back when 1,000 seemed like, I don't know how the heck I'm going to get to 1,000 followers. And that was in like 2020. So let's see. I want to shout out Sketchboard Pro, because I use a Sketchboard Pro and I absolutely love it. It's one of those things that you might not realize you need until you use it. My next iPad or whatever I'm using, like I'm going to need something like this, because it's just so much nicer to work with. So shout out. They're not sponsoring this video or anything like that, but shout out to them, because I love this, the Sketchboard Pro that I have my iPad in. Also, shout out to Skillshare. Skillshare has been super supportive of me and what I'm doing, and it's just, you know, it's great. And over the years, they've given me a lot of pointers, a lot of tips to make my intro videos and just my videography in general much better. And obviously, like I teach there, I have a ton of classes there, and they've always been nothing but supportive. So shout out to everyone at Skillshare, because if it wasn't for Skillshare, I wouldn't be able to do any of this like YouTube stuff. You know what I mean? So I spent a lot of time teaching. I spent a lot of time curating those classes. And I really appreciate all of the students who post comments and post their class projects and things like that. So make sure you check out Skillshare. If there's anything you want to do or learn, you can definitely learn it on Skillshare. And they always have 30% off coupons and things like that. And you can get a free month, so you can check it out. Even if it's not my stuff, you can, look up whatever you want. But this video is also my latest crash course, and I bring it all the way until Blender. The crash course is just the Nomad part, but of course I continue and bring it into Blender. If you're a beginner, you don't really want to be doing all that stuff. You just want to stick with the Nomad, the first video and the third video where I'm coloring and lighting him. But I think that's it. Thank you again for 100K. It's been fun. It'll continue to be fun. And I just have so much that I want to do. And I don't know. It's kind of surreal, the amount of support that I've been getting. So we're just going to keep the train rolling, and we're just going to continue to learn and make amazing and beautiful things. Oh, and also I did talk about a bunch of things on the podcast. Here's Seth and I on the podcast, which was, again, I was so nervous for it. But once I start talking about this kind of stuff that I'm passionate about, it's like the nerves kind of go away, and it actually felt like it was pretty quick, because I was talking a lot. I'm sure he was surprised to see at how much I was talking, but I can talk when it's about that stuff. But we talked about creepy I was telling him about Creepy, this old vintage magazine that I used to get from like old bookstores. We talked about the puffalumps, and these are some puffalumps. I feel like you could stuff them into a ball or something like that. I don't know. This was in 1999. That was one of the drawings I did. This is one of the darker drawings that I was mentioning. And here's that same drawing that I did in 1999, just holding it. And here's some other. This is the Napoleon by Jacques-Louis David. Don't know who this is by, but this is another painting that I decided to draw. There's my book, my written and illustrated by Dave Reed. And here's just a tiger trying to do stuff that just seems more difficult. A creepy eye. Like I said, my stuff used to be very, very dark. I would always do stuff like this. This is some digital work. This is some of my first tutorials on YouTube. Was doing eyes. I also did some work for Greg Magoon. Shout out to Greg. This is Once Upon a Fairy Tale. I had to figure out how to do all those fairy tale princesses. Here's Oliver Gilmore. Shout out to Oliver, the sugar pup. This was my old logo that I was mentioning about. I just cut a circle out of them. So that was the first snails. This was the second iteration of the snail logo, which still didn't work for like black and white. Here's one of my first nomad sculpts. I was trying to do this frog, trying to figure this application out. It was fun, but I didn't know what I was doing. Again, this is me just doing things in like that Disney style that I really like. Weird abstract stuff. This is one of my favorites, just really weird and strange. This is the sketch for the Dream Machine when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for the Dream Machine and coming up with the characters. Shout out to the Dream Machine cast and crew. Here's just some more drawings. This was my whole Instagram. This was my YouTube. I just did 2D drawings of animals, and that's really all I did. And I learned so much from just drawing these realistic animals. This is my old setup when I first moved in, so this is probably like 2017. It's just so bare. There's nothing there. And then I'm going to finish it off with some more of my older, really weird stuff that I used to draw, like really like dark, weird, strange things. But that's the evolution of artists. So keep evolving, because I'll keep evolving, and I'm going to record all of it. Keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all